Our generation and our belief system will be paving the way for millennials for decades to come.
As soon as you make the decision that I am going to boldly speak my mind courageously, whether I'm with friends or family or as I am in private and public, that is the most freeing thing we can give our students.
So the man was clear, and he engendered such a spirit of debate. Yet false claims about Charlie Kirk reveal the hate and the weakness of some liberals and Democrats in this country. Some on the left are spreading misinformation. A new op-ed argues leftist Wikipedia editors twist facts in shameless move to smear Charlie Kirk. Here's a quote. The attack on Kirk begins in the very first sentence of the Wiki article, which identifies him as right-wing. That may seem unobjectionable in itself, but a look at Wiki articles on comparable figures from the left reveals no such politicized framing. Articles do describe them as partisan activities. They are not called liberal or leftist in them at all. Some companies are punishing employees for hateful reactions to Charlie's assassination. A New Jersey nurse says she was suspended over what she did.
I saw this guy. I didn't know who he was at the time, and he was standing there celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, saying how he deserved it. I look down, I see his badge, and it says doctor. And I said, "You're a doctor?" I said, how are you saying this as a doctor, that someone deserved to die?
Great question. School workers in multiple states are reportedly being investigated over their social media posts. A teacher in South Carolina wrote, "In my honest opinion, America became greater today." There, I said it, she said. And a teacher and city councilor in Oregon wrote that the assassination, quote, "really brightened up my day." Sickos. The country's second largest teachers union promoting this event set for tomorrow night. It's called Teachers Against Fascists. Tone deaf at best, given one of the shell casings at the scene of the assassination of Charlie Kirk had the words etched on it, "Catch fascists." Madeline Rivera is in Washington. Madeline.
Harris, many notable people are now deleting their posts and issuing apologies, not only for some of the things they've said about Charlie Kirk, but also for making assumptions about Kirk's shooter. One Harvard law professor, Lawrence Tribe, for instance, was criticized online for wrongly claiming that the suspect who killed Kirk was ultra-MAGA. He has since removed his post and says, in part, "My reaction saying he was to Kirk's right was premature, and I'm sorry I reposted a tweet to that effect before deleting my repost." Yet Fox News contributor and legal analyst Jonathan Turley is calling out what he suggests is a double standard, saying it remains impressive how liberals can spread disinformation with impunity while supporting censorship in the name of combating disinformation. The president of the American Federation for Teachers, Randi Weingarten, is also backtracking. Screenshots shared online show she shared another person's content suggesting that Kirk's shooter was right-wing. Weingarten now saying, in part, "I want to be responsive, so I deleted. Political violence must be condemned." Utah's Governor Spencer Cox is denouncing social media, saying it's driving up division.
I believe that social media has played a direct role in every single assassination and assassination attempt that we have seen over the last 5-6 years. There is no question in my mind that cancer probably isn't a strong enough word. What we have done, especially to our kids, it took us a decade to realize how evil these algorithms are.
Cox is urging people to get off their phones and build those face-to-face relationships instead. Harris.
Madeline, thank you. And focus with me now, Laura Trump, My View host. Great to see you. You know what? I'm looking again. I still can't believe that the second largest teachers union in the country is having an event called Teachers Against Fascists when one of those bullet casings said, "Hey, fascists, catch." Like, don't they know anything, or do they just hate?
It's shocking, Harris. It's honestly shocking. But maybe we shouldn't be so shocked, because the word fascist, the word Nazi, the word racist, those have all been used to describe Charlie. They've been used to describe a lot of us in the conservative movement, my family, my father-in-law. And when those words get thrown around so cavalierly and they get used to describe all of us, for we know why. It's clickbait. We live in a culture of clickbait. They know they can post something like that online. They know that the legacy liberal left-leaning media can run with that and get their base fired up, and people click on it, and it's used to score political points. But the results are obviously deadly. And now you see a lot of these people trying to backtrack, Harris, and they're trying to kind of back away from this. But the hate is still out there that they fomented. So I think it's incumbent upon the people who are in charge of the Democrat Party. If I were the head of the party, I would come out right now and say, we have to stop this. We have to take a little bit of accountability for where we have led this country. You see it mostly coming out of the left, Harris, and now Charlie Kirk is no longer with us. We've had 2 assassination attempts on my father-in-law's life, and we have to come to a place where this ends, to see elementary school teachers, college professors, doctors out there celebrating this tells you something has gone wrong. We need everyone, including the legacy liberal media, to get involved, pull us back to the center. Let's hear from the top tier of Democrats. Let's get them on board as well. Everybody should be pushing back against this.
You know, it's interesting. Bill Maher, I caught a little bit of what he had to say, and even he was pushing against some of what's being said on the left in terms of this. So you do have some liberals who will at least go so far as to say this was wrong. But the majority, as you point out, I mean, well, let's get into it deeper. House Speaker Mike Johnson will lead members of Congress in a memorial vigil for Charlie Kirk on Capitol Hill tonight. He was among the lawmakers and Trump administration officials remembering Charlie at the Kennedy Center last night.
A mixture of unspeakable sadness and grief and anger and even fear. It's as if a dark shadow was cast over our country. Our dear friend Charlie would never want us to be overcome by despair. He would want exactly the opposite.
Republican lawmakers looking at the big picture now. Are we facing in this country something that we can get beyond?
That way we serve, we empathize, we love each other. And yet after this, you see so much hate coming out. That's an indication of what's been happening for quite a few decades. We've been up against an ideology that hates everything we stand for, particularly God, particularly family.
It's an attack on the movement, not just traditional political violence. And I really believe that. And what I'm asking everybody to do is not to resort to violence to settle your political differences.
Laura, I want us to watch this together because you hear that from the right. Would you look at this from Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and what she says about her fiery rhetoric against the other side of the aisle? This is what she first says. Let's watch.
Me disagreeing with you, me calling you, I want to be Hitler, all those things are like not necessarily saying go out and hurt somebody. Don't get mad that I speak the truth and I speak facts, but I literally have never said anything to invoke violence. And I challenge somebody to go and find a clip of a Democrat invoking violence.
I'm glad she gave us a challenge. There are plenty of things that she's been saying. When you call somebody Hitler, you are calling for violence. Did you see what that monster did? Watch this.
It's Ted Cruz. I mean, like, this dude has to be knocked over the head, like, hard, right?
We have a Timu Hitler in the White House right now that thinks that he is going to become the dictator of the United States.
This ridiculous tyrant is trying to do everything that he can to break our democracy. Kind of like, the orange orangutan, the Timu Hitler.
I mean, I've heard it before. It's why there are instructions on a shampoo bottle is because of that woman. But that's evil. That's beyond stupid.
Yeah, I'm also old enough, Harris, to remember Maxine Waters saying, if you see somebody from that administration in a gasoline station, get up in their faces. You push back on them. We have multiple incidents. Maybe we should send them to Jasmine Crockett so that she can take a look at all of those. I will say this, though. I have been so inspired and so heartened to see the positive effects of a horrific situation, to see the vigils held over the weekend, to see, Harris, across this country, record attendance at churches. There was a shift that happened on Wednesday afternoon We should have never needed something this awful to cause that shift, but there has been a bit of a spiritual revival. I will say you didn't see anyone out burning down police stations, rioting in the streets, looting different businesses across this country over the weekend. I took my kids with my husband yesterday to a Miami Dolphins game. There was a moment of silence. They did a beautiful tribute to Charlie. We saw NFL teams across the country do that yesterday. What we could take out of this could be something that is greater than maybe Charlie himself even imagined. So while you have the hateful rhetoric from the left, completely, I guess they're oblivious to what they've said in the past and somehow want us to forget it. I think this is a moment where we could go forward as a country, as a world, in a better, more positive, more spiritual direction. And I can tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, I know Charlie would have wanted that.
Amen. Laura, always great to have you. Thank you.
Thanks, Harris.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.